I eat jiu-jitsu in the lunch, I eat jiu-jitsu at night time, and when I'm sleeping, I move my hip. So that's it. If I want to be heavy, I cannot have my knees on the ground. I'm gonna block him one side, hip on his hip. I'm gonna move, always heavy, always connect. Every time I'm here, I'm feeling he's got the hook that I cannot pass. I go back, I stay in the middle, and now instead of put my weight here, I'm gonna put my weight on his shoulder. See? Now try to put your elbow on the ground. If he tries too much to put the elbow on the ground, right away to the mount position. See, there's no blocking here. What I'm gonna do is grab the leg on top, and now I move my foot over my arm. Release the arm, and go to the mount position. If you give me the elbow, what I'm gonna do, if you stay here, if you try to push, I'll grab your elbow, and I put your elbow on top of your leg. Then I keep the leg, and I go to the other side. You put yourself in the mount position. I just go further. Oh, he gave me the elbow. 1, 2. Head up. Kick the leg. Now I go heavy. Heavy. Cross face. Bring the sleeve on top of her leg. And now head up. Isso, cara. See?
So you put like the head to his chin?
I'm not that bad. Renato is that bad.
We learned from Renato.
I'm a gentle guy. I don't like to do that. I'm very polite. So every time he has the head on my collar, I don't want to be. Read the signal, guys. You guys need to read the signals of the game also. If he's got his hand on my collar, I grow. Choke. Hey. Choke. 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 It's impossible to choke someone on your chest. Magrete choke, when I do the Magrete choke here, I don't want to choke you here. It's not going to work. That's why I choke you here. See? I put my weight, I go all the way, elbow. Now I'm strong. So I put my knees close. Elbow. I keep my elbows close and tight. Now I can use the hand on the ground and put on. Now I start to go to the other side and I keep the arm. 2. Thumbs up. Okay? The 2 legs. Don't do the knee, don't put the butt on the ground. I get close. I want to work on this hand. Because once he doesn't have this hand gripping anymore, he's dead. So I start to work. Create a space. See? What am I gonna do with this hand? That's the lonely hand. Every time he's got a lonely hand, he's a beast. The new position for 2014. PHYGT like it. The lonely hand I grab on the palm of his hand. Because here I am strong. Okay? His elbow down, really down. Exactly like that. Now this hand is gonna roll to come in this space here. Now you have this and this. Check this out. Now you start to put pressure on this side. Long hand. Tap, tap. If you cannot find a space to go with your hand in between his hand and the arm, pull. Now he's done. Start to only hand. Training, sometimes we're here. Sometimes we're here. He starts to turn on his knees. supposed to be. My elbows, not like this. I close the elbow, two hands, my foot. I open the way my shin is touching his calf. And now, head on the ground. He's gonna tap. No way to stay. Here is done. Finish. There's no Superman, super leg. You're gonna tap my foot. Canelão. What's the name of the position? Canelão. What's Curucuru, guy? Why did
Bom dia, Professor.
Hey, bom dia. Tudo bem?
Professor, how are you?
I'm doing good, my brother. Very happy to be talking to you guys in Philippines.
Thank you, Professor. Let me do the intro. So, everyone, welcome to our Fightcast episode number 3. This is John's on Double Fighterverse Network. We're developing the first and only train-to-earn gamified app for grappling and jiu-jitsu. And joining us today is none other than legendary jiu-jitsu personality, the originator of the Kuku Guard, multiple-time IBJJF Masters champion, and 50-degree black belt, Professor Rodrigo Pagani. Professor.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah, so Professor, thank you for joining us on our Fightcast. To start off, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what got you into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Man, I was 15 years old when I have my first contact with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I have heard from my friends from Rio because I live in Niterói. Niterói, it's a city like close to Rio de Janeiro. It's like there's a bridge in between that you have to cross. And then I heard from my friends about Jiu-Jitsu and everything. And when I was like even younger, I saw MMA fight Jiu-Jitsu against Luta Livre, and I get like really involved with that. So when my friends came with this, they told me that to start Jiu-Jitsu would start in my city. That will be a Grace Academy. That made me very happy. So I started in Jiu-Jitsu back 1992. Okay, basically.
So, Professor, can you walk us through your early journey and background? What were the biggest challenges you faced early in your early training? And can you share a memorable moment from your competition?
Okay. First of all, when I first started in Jiu-Jitsu, man, everything was like very. Jiu-Jitsu was old in Rio already, but not in the world. Jiu-Jitsu was pretty new in the world at the time. Basically, was strong only in Rio de Janeiro, you know. And we didn't have much black belts at the time yet. So my first Jiu-Jitsu class was taught by Royler Gracie. So I was very lucky to get the connection with the Gracie family right at the beginning of my journey. So I started as a white belt at Gracie Academy in Niterói. Royler was the teacher, and Kaique, who was a Rickson Gracie student in Brazil, very tough guy, also was the instructor. So I had, since the beginning, great teachers, to teach me Jiu-Jitsu. I was very lucky on that time when I first started. But Jiu-Jitsu, we didn't have the first words yet. Everything was like right on the beginning. So I can say I'm not old school. Old school are those guys who came before me, like the 80s, like Hickson, Hoyler, Kaique. I can say I'm from the words generation. So I saw everything starts on the 90s. The first words was back 1996, and I was a purple belt at the time. So I saw everything starts, and a great memory I had was like to be able to compete my first words as a black belt, adult. I competed back 2002, I had qualified for the words at the time as a brown belt a year before. And then Saulo just promoted me to the rank of black belt like few weeks before the tournament. So I was expecting to compete as a brown belt. And when I saw I was there competing against the best of the worlds at the time, so I was able to win my first match as a black belt adult in the worlds. I submitted a guy from Brazilian Fight at the time, and then I lost to Carlos Lemos Escorrega, who was the champion on that year, back 2002, from Grace Barra, Carlos Lemos Escorrega. So that was a very, very memorable moment to me because at that time I felt I had reached like everything in jiu-jitsu, like competing at black belt adult, things that I used to see only at the stadium as a purple belt, as a brown belt. I always had that dream to compete on that level. And that was like a life change to me. That's when I really decided I want to live my life of jiu-jitsu. So that's a very good memory to me. My first words as a black belt.
Thank you, Professor. So, you mentioned that you're not really the old school jiu-jitero. So this belongs to like Higson and his brothers. How has your training evolved over the years?
Man, I started here in Niterói, in my city. And then back 1993, Hoyler came to us to the academy. He brought a tape, a VHS tape. And he said, "Oh, this is my brother. He just fought in the US. And I'm going to show you guys." We didn't know about anything about Ultimate Fighting, nothing. But he showed us the tape of the Ultimate Fighting. So we saw Royce doing those fights at the academy like a few days after. That was like really crazy. And there was that guy in front of the Gracie family, a like strong guy, big guy, and that was Hickson. And everybody who I asked about Hickson, they were like, Hickson is the best one. Hickson is the best one we have. So, but that was like very common. Everyone in jiu-jitsu, old, black belt, brown belts that I used to ask, they used to say that Hickson was the best one ever. And then back 1996, I decided to sell one car I had here in Brazil. The dollar was 1 by 1 with the real at the time, the Brazilian money. And then I stopped the college. I was doing economics on the college, and then I decided to go to the US to live and train under Rickson Grace Academy. And that's what I did. So I went to America back 1996, and I trained the whole year at Rickson's Academy, the old academy, Pico Street with Sepulveda Street. That was a lifetime changing to me. So when I came back to Brazil, jiu-jitsu was already on my blood, on my veins, and I could not give up anymore. And the connection I had with Rickson, like, really blow my mind, because I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 33 years maybe right now, and I never seen anything like Rickson in my whole life. The guy was able to get at the academy. We had like 25 people laughing and joking. When he steps inside the academy, nobody will say a word. The guy had the energy, able to, everybody was like quiet. Nobody wanted to say anything or say anything wrong, just everybody paying attention on him. Rickson had a different energy, and I walk in between giants, but Rickson was the biggest of them all, in my opinion, And I was very lucky to get connected with Rickson, to learn from Rickson. I got friend with his son, Roxon, and I was able to go to his house to train at his garage, at Wednesdays. He asked me to go there because he was teaching private class to his son, Roxon, and I was kind of the same size as him. So he invited me to go there a few times, so I was able to learn and train from Rickson, And that was really amazing during my jiu-jitsu journey. And I was like just a blue belt at the time. Before I leave, like November, he promoted me to the rank of purple belt. Limão, Mauricio, all those guys at his academy. And then I came back to Brazil as a purple belt. And then I started training at Humaitá at the time, in Humaitá in Rio. But being with Rickson was a great memory also that I have in my career,
Professor, so you speak so much of experience from Hickson's the history with Hickson. How do you approach mental preparation? Did you get any tips or tricks from the greatest?
A lot, bro. I can tell you I got a lot from him. At the time when he was saying those things to me, I guess I wasn't mature enough to really understand. But after the years passed, I started to realize the things he was telling back there. It was like making 100% sense to me, but took a little time because I was kind of beginner, and he was so ahead of everything. He was so ahead in like yoga, breathing. Back 1996, today, like my wife, she's a yoga teacher and she's a breathing expert. So many of the things I see she's doing right now, like over 30 years after that, Rickson was doing back there in 1996, and that wasn't about jiu-jitsu, So a lot of his mindset and his connection with jiu-jitsu and the way he was healthy and the way he faced the situations in his life and during the fights, all of that amazed me, and I learned a lot from him. But as I told you, back there, I wasn't mature enough to understand. But right now, I can take many of the lessons from what I heard on that time, because he was like really ahead, especially of me. I was a kid on that time. I was like 21 years old.
So, Professor, let's move on to your favorite techniques and strategies. What's your signature or favorite move or favorite technique?
I don't have a favorite technique. My favorite technique is the one my opponent gives me the chance to do to him. That's my favorite technique. I learn jiu-jitsu, I put my bait, and I wait my opponent to bite it. When he comes for the bait, I'm going to act. But I cannot tell you I'm going to try to do something, because today people understand how to avoid jiu-jitsu, avoid some games, So that's why I understand we must have a complete game. You must be, especially today, because the level is like really high, but you must have a good game standing up. You must have a good guard. You must have a good game on top. That's what I try to do with my son, my students in my association right now. I made all my career, bro, pulling guard, So my judo sucks. I didn't know. The only judo I knew was like I learned from Saulo, a little bit this, a little bit that. And I was competitive. I trained like wrestling, but I wasn't a specialist. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that the fighter nowadays must to be complete. The Rodrigo Pagani of today is much more complete than Rodrigo Pagani back 2002. I have no question, no doubt about that. If I had to learn from myself back 2002 and now, I would like to learn from myself now, because I started judo at the age of 45 years old, and now I'm a brown belt, so I understand the judo now. I'm not a specialist. Maybe if I'm competing again next year, maybe I pull guard. but I know what I'm talking about because the version of myself that knows judo, it will be much better than the version of Rodrigo Pagani that doesn't know judo. I mean, to teach the kids or to teach my students, just for you to understand, back 2002, 2003, when I was competing as adult, I didn't have the Curucuru guard yet. The Curucuru guard started back 2008. So I didn't have that yet. So see how crazy it is. One of my signatures in jiu-jitsu today, the guard that I used to sweep, a lot of people, I do have other guards. I'm gonna sweep with hook guard, whatever, if you give me the chance. But my good guard, my most saleable product didn't exist in 2002. So it's a long time, and I believe you must be the best you can, the best version of yourself. That's how jiu-jitsu is doing today because the level is too high. So the specialist in half guard, he will not win. He needs to know how to play standing up, and that's what I have to say for now. So I don't have telling you, answering you. I don't have a special signature. I have the McGrady choke that I do a lot. I have the rolete, but Curucuru guard, but it's not the one I like the most. It's the one that you give me the chance to do to you, basically.
Professor, what has been your toughest match and how were you able to overcome it?
Man, I had many toughest matches, to tell you the truth. I fought like Carlos Lemos, Escorrega, who was world champion back 2002. I fought Bibiano Fernandes in 2003. And I was the only guy in the bracket who was able to score points on him. I was winning the fight, and then he tapped me. I fought Alexandre Pequeno from Luta Livre, no gi, here in Brazil. I fought Felipe Costa. I fought Joelson Souza. Some of them I lost, some of them I won. But like I cannot say I have one special fight, because I cannot say if Bibiano was better than Alexandre Pequeno or if Escorrega was better to Bibiano. All of those guys were like really tough to me. So Felipe Costa as well. So all of those guys, I didn't have like a special toughest match.
All of these guys are rock stars in jiu-jitsu, Professor. Even in
Yes,
MMA.
I fought Renato Babalu, bro, in the Pan Ams back
It's
2014.
absolute.
Yes, and it was like 2-2, two 2 points, and the ref gave him the victory. How come you're 64 kilos, you fight Babalu 100 kilos, and the ref gives him the victory after a tie? That's like really crazy to me. But I fought him. He didn't tap. He had the anaconda choke. I was able to escape. So, man, I did some pretty tough matches in this life, and I don't want to talk about the ones I won because I won from another person. So I don't want to talk about another person, but I had some tough matches in my life. And my toughest matches was at my academy. Because for you to understand, for me to fight on that level, I spent years training with Royler, Megaton, Omar Saloon, Fredson Alves. So all of those guys were my training partners when they were black belts and I was a purple belt. So I was the train for the words in Tijuca. We had like 4 or 5 rounds of 10 minutes. Man, I was like training in one day with Fredson, Royler, Omar Saloon, and Megaton. Like 4 rounds being. So my toughest matches were on my academy. And we had like the other guys that call of belts like Gustavo, Gilbertinho, all them world champions and Brazilian national champions also. So as I told you, I walked in between giants, my brother.
That's crazy, Professor. Those are all like I can't even comprehend
I,
the.
I mean that in one day, in one day of training. because my part and because the training for the words, the graces from all over Brazil used to join and train together, So I was able to train with Megaton, who was coming from the US, Omar Saloon. He was world champion as a blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, and black belt. And he was a good friend of mine, same weight division. And years after that, 2010, I went to Manaus. Omar invited me to go to Manaus, and I was able to close the bracket with him as a black belt, and he gave me the gold medal for a Brasileiro, CBJJE. Omar invited me to go. So I was like competing and training in between my idols. That's what was like really crazy. I used to go to Copacabana to train at Saulos, 2002. Oh, my training partner was like Xande, Cristiano Marcelo, Fabrício Morango, and the toughest guys you can imagine, bro. I used to train with those guys like every day, being beaten by those guys every day. So that's why I tell you, my main trainings and my main challenges was every day on my academy. So that was like one of the game changers of my jiu-jitsu career. The training partners I had and the teachers I had also, because I also searched to learn. I always invested for private classes. I was private student with Hoyle. I was private student with Saulo for many years. So I invested a lot in jiu-jitsu. I never gave up because I had everything to give up. I'm 64 kilos, bro. I'm a guy with 64 kilos. For you to find the space between the lions, you got to really know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're not going to survive in a jungle like that. So that the old times.
Professor, how has grappling changed since you started?
Man, I can tell you that I didn't see much change technically, because on my time we had like Royler, Tererê, Saulo, and Margarida, and Arona. All those guys were tough and very technical, right? But I guess it evolved a lot in the conditioning, in the way they preparing the kids, the way, now the kids are training like my son, he trains jiu-jitsu since 3 years old. He trains judo since 5 years old. So the only people who used to do that was the Gracies. Only a Gracie kid. And today, this is very common. Everybody starts really early. So got a little more competitive. But the game technically didn't change much. I believe the jiu-jitsu I used to have when I was a black belt was even better than today. Because if you check a competition back there and you see Margarida fighting against Jacaré, and then you see, we didn't have 50-50 at the time, bro. Jiu-Jitsu was like to submit the other, to take down. Today we have this 50-50 stuff, and people wait until the last minute. They just fight for real on the last minute, especially when the guys are like very competitive. I feel they don't go for the game 100%. They wait until it's like 1 minute to go, and then they start to fight. They stole a little more. They're more physical. But I don't see that evolved a lot technically. I guess my generation was very lucky to see all of those monsters from jiu-jitsu, so I was able to improve and learn everything. And I don't believe that now we are behind or ahead. It's basically the same. Technique is always evolving.
Professor, how do you see grappling evolving in the next 10 to 20 years?
That's crazy, man. I believe the no-gi will get a bigger space, a bigger slice of the cake. I understand it will be more professional, so we will have more shows with more contracts, will become more professional. When I fought against Pequeno, bro, Pequeno was the biggest name of the Luta Livre. Alexandre Pequeno was like a legend in Japan in MMA. I fought him in Brazil I had taken my black belt 2 months only, and I didn't sign any contract. I just show up and fought him, no gi. So everything was like really, really crazy at the time, right? I see in the future we will have it more like a job, more professional. It will be better for the fighters itself. At my time, everything was like really blood and tears and sweat and was like really crazy. I believe the professional jiu-jitsu will improve, but that's the only thing I can see, like online videos and but nothing like more shows. I believe the way you will make money with jiu-jitsu will improve. You have more chance, especially for the guy. It was really hard to me. I see the kids today with 19, 20 years old already making money. Man, I repeat, I was a 64 kilos guy in between giants. I needed like to people used to come to my academy like to help to challenge me. Hey, let's see what this skinny guy does, and I believe this is behind. So that's what I see for the future. The progression of the jiu-jitsu as a business, as a show, as a career.
Professor, um, do you have any daily training routines that you like to share it with us? Because especially like you're a very small, skinny guy, how can you like go against these giants?
Yeah, man, it is what it is. There's nothing I can change. I was born that way, so I'm gonna have to deal that way. And what I did, my brother, was like to train a lot and learn a lot of jiu-jitsu as much as I could. So technically, I can handle 90% of the people that surround me that I train with, even being bigger than me, because I can see ahead. I know what's coming. I know what they want. I know ahead. I know what he's feeling. So I've been doing that for a long time. It's a long expertise. That's what I do the best in my life. I woke up thinking about jiu-jitsu. I have my lunch thinking about jiu-jitsu. I was a competitor, and I still a competitor as a master. And then I learned judo, and then I had a son, and then I started to teach kids because of my son, because I not never taught kids in my life. And then I could see how a student starts from the beginning, from the scratch, how a kid starts everything in jiu-jitsu, and that brought me a lot of knowledge. So I pretty much try to keep myself in shape. I don't have the same conditioning I had when I was 25, and I'm not even trained for that. But I keep myself in shape. I have the same body weight. I still train every day. I do judo. I go there and I do my best. But what I do now is like, if I don't feel comfortable to do it, I won't do it. If I don't feel comfortable to train today, if my body gives me sign that I'm tired, that I don't do it. And back there, I didn't have a choice. I needed to keep going. Now I cannot train, wake up and say, I'm not going to judo today because I'm tired. I didn't feel. My recover became slower. So, but I keep training. I do. I lift weights. I do yoga with my wife. I do jiu-jitsu every day because I teach a private class basically every day. So I have to go on my knees and train jiu-jitsu with my students. So what I do is like keep training. I'm 50 years old now, and I was last year. No, actually this year. I was hurt. I had an injury on my lower back. I've been treating. Now I'm much better. So I didn't train much this year. I taught my classes, but I didn't get myself like really competitive. But for the next year, I'll be back on the trails. I'll be competing again because I want to show my son how it does. Sometimes I want to strangle him because he doesn't do the way I'm telling. But it is because I will have to go there and show, maybe draw him a picture. So that's my last shot. Is like to keep myself healthy for compete the next few years, and then I will rest, my brother, because I'm 50 years old. I've been doing that for a long time. I've been smashed for those guys a long time. And I still healthy, bro. Because after all of these years, I don't have much surgeries in my body. I feel good. I'm not James Brown, but I feel good, my brother.
Professor, do you have any advice for beginners looking to improve quickly?
That's a thing that doesn't combine on the same phrase. Improve and quickly. There's no quickly improvement. But a guy, okay, if that guy did that, beautiful. That's great to him. But in the real life, that doesn't match. Takes a long time, a long road for you to improve. So there's no quickly in this sentence, in my opinion.
Perfectly said, Professor.
Because you have to train everything. You have to train stand up. How long gonna take for you to get a black belt in judo as an adult? You're gonna take like took me uh, next year. I will do an exam the whole year here in Brazil. We have to go there for the federation and do tests. It takes the whole year, the process. So maybe the end of the 2005, I will become a judo black belt. Took me 6 years, bro. Already being a jiu-jitsu black belt. So, and you go train jiu-jitsu, it's gonna take you like 8 years for you to get a black belt. So there's no quickly. Some people understands the game faster than the other, but there's no quickly. There's no fast. You have to really, first of all, you really must want. Because if you don't want, nothing's gonna happen. Sometimes I feel I want more for my student that they really want. So if you have that feeling, you're not evolving. You must want. That's the thing. Boy, I've been doing, man, jiu-jitsu my whole life. Jiu-jitsu took me to 11 countries, bro. Maybe if I was a doctor or if I was a lawyer, I will not know 11 countries. I've been in Philippines. Philippines. It's like 27 hours flying from Brazil. I met the greatest people of the world in jiu-jitsu in Philippines. Sensei Alvin. Oh, Sensei Alvin is a great guy. He's always talking to me. I just taught him a class to his students, an online class about when Xande was here. 2 weeks ago, Xande was here and I was teaching an online class to Philippines. Like Joe Lipton, the one who is a ref. Boy, he was here in my place back 2011, bro. Pichon Garcia was able to stay in his house when I went to Philippines. I had a great time in Philippines. So, boy, imagine me, a 64 kilos guy from Rio, skinny guy. I'm not a Gracie. If I was Rodrigo Gracie, all the doors will open to me. But I'm Rodrigo Pagani, so I needed like to. So imagine that after all of those years, starting from the scratch, I was able to go to so many places with jiu-jitsu. So there's no price for that. My legacy has no price, my brother. And that's a place that I love, bro. Philippines. I wish I could go there again, visit you guys. I miss my friend. And it will be a pleasure to be there with you guys again in Asia. Actually, I have a student in Shanghai, pretty close. We have a Curucuru school in Shanghai. So one day, maybe I go there, visit my student, and do a little travel to Philippines, to Manila one more time, to see my friends.
Let's do that, Professor. We'll be more than happy to receive you here. I remember you mentioning that academy in Shanghai when I visited you.
One of my black belts, actually, he's Saulo Melo. He's living in China for like 5 years already, and he's a student of mine since a blue belt, and he's doing good there, man. But it's kind of far away. It's like not easy for me right now to leave, and I want to go there. And for sure, if I go that far, I will visit you guys in Philippines. All my friends in Philippines, Joe, Alvin Lee, Pichon, all of those guys. Hey guys, Ossa, love you guys, brother. Lots of respect from the Ribeiro and Six Blades Association in Philippines. Actually, Curucuru Land is a international association, but my academy here in Brazil It is a kingdom under six blades. I told Xande, man, if you need me or my shoulder to score points for you, we'll be happy to help you out because Saulo and Xande, that's another chapter of my life, especially with Saulo. You know, I had a great connection with the Gracie family. I can say I have two jiu-jitsus. The one I learned from the Gracie family and the competitive jiu-jitsu that I learned from Saulo. Saulo put me in another level as jiu-jitsu competitor, and I have to tell you that. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was like very, very inspiring to me, but what made me become a winner as a competitor was Saulo. You know, the jiu-jitsu I learned from him. Saulo was the great, like one of the greatest competitors I've ever seen. Xande is very talented. We learned together from Saulo, but my competitive jiu-jitsu comes from Saulo, so I could not talk anything without talking about my sensei. Saulo was the guy who promoted to the rank of black belt, you know. So I was working for Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu many years. I've been in Philippines as a director of Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu Brazil also. So I have a lot of respect for these guys too, you know. And I can tell you, my Curucuru Land Association, we are in Italy with Sensei Max, okay, Max is Berger. We are in Canada, in BC, with Sensei Dean Towers. We are in Vancouver with Sensei Michael Seamark. We are in Niterói with my student Floki, Thiago Floki, the boat maker. We are around the world. We are in China, we are in Thailand, and always learning, doing what I learned from Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu. All I learned from a Jiu-Jitsu association, I learned working for Ribeiro, I learned working for Saulo, you know. So lots of gratitude for those two guys too, especially Saulo and Xande.
Professor, do you have any pre-match rituals or superstitions like I'm not gonna take a bath before the day a day before the fight?
I don't like to do anything wrong with anybody, bro. So I believe I cannot be rude to anybody because if I'm rude, if I'm gonna pay everything on the mat. So I try to be isolate myself because I'm not in a very good mood. You know, I want to be focused, so I try to keep isolate. The competitor, he must be selfish, and that's why some parts of my life I decided to not compete because you cannot be selfish all the time, you know. And the competitor has to be selfish. I don't care about what time my wife is going to eat, about what time she's going to sleep. I just care about myself. I don't want to be to anybody else. And at the same time, I'm scared to be rude, to do anything wrong, and then pay my karmas on the match. So I prefer to stay home, quiet, you know, don't show up on the social media, don't post anything before, like I'm ready, preparing to master words. That is 100% sure you're gonna lose, my brother. Don't post anything. Just keep it for you. And then after all, you don't have to post. Yeah, wasn't the way I was expecting, but I learned a lot. So things that I don't like to do. So I prefer to be quiet on my spot, you know, just waiting to see what's happening.
Um, Professor, who's your favorite grappler to watch, past or present?
You mean now?
Past or present, so before
Tá,
or
okay.
even
I
now.
really like it. Let me tell you. Oh, Royler was my idol for a few years, and then I really like to see Saulo. Margarida was amazing. Margarida, Tererê, Marcelinho, Garcia. Those guys were amazing, and so I cannot say I have one special. And Xande after a few years after, you know, and many guys, bro. I really don't know which one is the, but I like people who like to submit. Like Margarida was amazing, you know. Saulo was amazing. Xande was amazing. Roger, we have to respect Roger. Roger, he's very simple jiu-jitsu. So it's not that beautiful to see Roger fighting. He's very effective. He is very good. But it's like kind of, you know already what he's going to do, basically. He's going to mount and tap you. So there's no much fun on it. But when you see Margarida, you know, and Ricardo Arona and Sal, all those guys, that was like really nice to see. Law também. Law was also very nice to see him, very exciting. Many guys, Rafael Lovato, I'm a very big fan of Rafael Lovato, you know. Many guys. I don't have a special one, you know.
Professor, if you weren't a grappler, what would you be doing?
I don't know, brother. I have no idea. I cannot tell you that because I never had any other job besides teaching jiu-jitsu. The only job I had was back 1996. I was a bus boy in America in a restaurant. And I just was doing that because I needed some money to train jiu-jitsu. Actually, I went to America with the money of my car that I sold in Brazil, but I spent it all. So I needed to work, you know. And so that's the only job I had which wasn't jiu-jitsu. So I cannot tell you. I am a very good soccer player, you know. I was a very good soccer player. But I guess my career was like, it would not happen. And I don't know. I'm very good teaching also. I don't know. Maybe teach Portuguese. I don't know. I have no idea, brother. I can't imagine.
How do you feel about the support from fans and the grappling community?
Oh, that's amazing, bro. Even today, you know, many people know about Curucuru around the world. You know, many people about. Even I'm not competing, people still know me, you know, and I also have my academies around the world with my partners, my black. I go there to teach seminars, you know, and people know about my name. It was funny because Curucuru guard opened a big gap to me in the jiu-jitsu world, you know, opened a big gap internationally to me. As I told you, many people has the interest to learn the Curucuru guard. So I've been in Ireland, I've been in Germany, I've been in Italy, I've been in Portugal, I've been in Russia, uh, U.S., Canada, Philippines. So I've been all over teaching basically the Curucuru guard and the Magretti choke. So Jiu-Jitsu was very kind to me with this possibility, you know. So it's good. I have people that still talk to me, people that like subscribers from my online TV, the Curucuru TV. They send me message. I saw your class that you teach how to do this and that, and see, I see they really know what they're talking about. Sometimes I don't remember what they're talking about, but they know what they're talking about. You know, I mean, American guys send me message. I was studying today the Soviet pass, and you do this and that. Can you give me a tip? So I see this, and I keep working also, you know, I keep teaching, I keep traveling. I'm going to go back to the competition. So that's what makes you be, it's not only about to compete and be a big competitor. You can make your name in jiu-jitsu in some other areas, I believe, you know.
Professor, what's next for you in grappling or in life?
Well, right now, my project is like to teach my son. If he's going to be a jiu-jitsu competitor, if he's going to be a judo, really don't know, and I really don't care. My goal now is to pass my knowledge to my son. Whatever he's going to do with my knowledge is not my problem. That's up to him, you know. I work, I pay for his school. I want him to study also to graduate in school, but I will teach my jiu-jitsu to my kid. That's my goal for now, you know. And I train every day. I teach kids class because of him. You know, I take him to the judo classes. I'm training judo because of him, because when he started judo, I didn't want him to point the finger at me and say, hey, why do I have to go to judo and you don't go to judo? And then I move my ass from my bed and I go train, and he knows I train. So right now, my goal is to take care of Curucuru Land Association, develop the system of Curucuru Land. All of those guys that I told you, those black belts, they are black belts. They know jiu-jitsu. I met them during the years. But once they join the Curucuru Land Association, I want to share with them what worked to me. So how, and it's not only about Rodrigo Pagani, but about the association. How I'm gonna drive the association to teach the best jiu-jitsu. The best that I'd say is not the best for competition. The best is it's a hard word to use, but the best jiu-jitsu to make people happy, to make them learn, to make them competitive, but, to fill up all the needs from different kind of people, not only for the competitors or only for the doctor who wants to come over to have a private class, but for everybody. So I'm creating this system, and I'm taking these years to develop this system around my schools, around the world. And so that's my main goal also now, to create a standard for the Curucuru Land Association, like teaching jiu-jitsu around the world, and to train my son, to show my jiu-jitsu and my knowledge to my son. That's my main goals right now. Next year, I will come back to competitions, but that's not my main goal anymore, bro. I'm 4 times Brazilian national champion as a master in a black belt. I'm European champion. I'm South American champion. I'm 3 times world champion as a black belt when the worlds were in Brazil. So I don't have to compete anymore. I'm going to do that more to show my son and my students how it does and to have some fun. But competition is not like a goal to me. The 2 goals are taking care of my association and show my jiu-jitsu to my son.
Thank you, Professor. So I think that's our final question for you. If anyone in the chat would like to ask Professor Pagani, any questions?
I cannot see the people that we have in the chat. I don't know if some of my students are there.
Pietro Souza has commented.
What did he say?
Said, great master, a lot of wisdom and technique involved. Proud to be part of Curucuru Land.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Pietro is my private student here. I guess it's him. Very nice guy.
Okay, if we don't have any questions for Professor Pagani, we'll run our sponsors, and then we'll discuss the utility of the app that we're building.
Beautiful. That was a pleasure to be here with you guys. I finished my private class and I just came over here to be with you guys. I took my morning off, and I respect a lot Philippines. It's a people that I know from really close, and only good things to say. Show my gratitude for being here, for people who want to listen my story. So it's like really nice. Thanks for the opportunity. And every time you come to Brazil, you guys know we have a place to stay. We had many Philippines already here at Curucuru Land, so just let me know. If you want to learn some of my jiu-jitsu, make sure you go on Curucuru Land TV, become a subscriber. All my jiu-jitsu is over there, and we also have Xande with his Diamond Guard and Fredson and Gustavo, a whole bunch of other guys.
Okay, let me run the ad first, Professor. Then let's discuss more on the app.
Okay.
Welcome to Cutis, the first AI smart ring that rewards your wellness journey. We empower users to own and monetize all your wellness data. Effortlessly track your sleep, steps, activities, and more 24/7. Meet your personal AI coach, here to guide you every step of the way. Receive personalized tips and actionable insights to enhance your well being. From improving your sleep, eating healthier, to enhancing your mental well being and staying active. Stay motivated with our innovative Salus reward system. Earn points by reaching your wellness goals and get the exclusive token airdrops in the future. We empower users to own and monetize their wellness data, fostering a healthy. Welcome to QDIS, the first AI smart ring. Welcome to QDIS, the first.
Okay, Professor.
Yes.
All right. So let's discuss the app that we've been developing. I believe I mentioned this to you when I was there. Let's proceed with the utility. For example, the black belt challenges. If you remember, I asked you what you want to give out as a challenge for the users in our app. So
Uh-huh.
that's like, if I remember correctly, it's you have to sweep using Curucuru guard
Uh-huh.
in competition, and then that's where they'll win the points or tokens depending on the level of their characters in the app. So this way, we will build more engagement through our community, and then once the users pull it off, or the competitors pull it off, they get awarded with the points or the tokens. Well, again, depends on their level. And then there's a ranking system also to make it competitive. So you can see your rank there if you're number one, number two, number three. And yeah, we'll talk more of these utilities and on our next episode. So make sure you tune in. Professor Pagani, we greatly appreciate your time. Thanks for your valuable time. Again, don't forget to check out Professor Pagani's website, Kurukuruland TV. Is that correct, Professor?
That's it. The link, you just go to the Curucuru Land on Instagram. The link is on the bio. You just have to go click and enjoy it.
All right. Thank you for tuning into Fightcast today. To everyone who watched this episode, don't forget to follow our socials for updates. Plus, the Fight Cup registration is already up, I think. Make sure to register. We'll have really tough competitors from around the globe because we also have the Brazilian embassy promoting our platform and our tournament. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us, and we can't wait to show you what's coming next. Stay tuned, stay connected, and we'll see you on the mat or in the app. Os.
Valeu, John. Os.
Os.